So howdy and welcome to episode 12 of the 240SX 2JZ swap. In this episode, it's going to be short. We're doing a little preventative maintenance on the R154 transmission. So R154s have this problem where they blow gear oil out of either under the shifter housing here or out of this hole here where the shifter actually sits. Now, the later model R154s had a breather with a tripod shifter. They had a breather on the transmission, but the earlier models did not. The only place that the transmission can breathe is out of the shifter, which is why you get all this oil blowing out of where the shifter is. And you don't want that going into your car. It doesn't smell good. And I've heard a lot of horror stories of people where it just kind of goes everywhere when they're dyno tuning it for the first time. So I would like to prevent that. I got this idea from Rabid JZ, who's another YouTuber, link in the description, who gave me the idea of using these little one-way breather, I guess, fittings that you can screw into your shifter housing. So your whole transmission has a source to bleed all of its built-up pressure. And I also found out from his YouTube channel that it's not the bell housing side of the transmission that builds up all the pressure. Instead, it's the extension housing side of the transmission that builds up all that pressure. So this is perfect because this will be essentially the highest point of the transmission, which is where we are going to be screwing in our one-way breather fittings here. So essentially what these are, I will put the this is what they're called. This is the part number. They're from Speedway Motors. They're pretty cheap. Essentially, we're going to just screw these in. What are we going to do? We're going to drill some holes into here, tap them, screw these in, and they're just going to sit into this housing like this. And that should resolve the problem. Even though I haven't even driven the car, much less gotten it started yet, we want to just prevent that from us having to deal with this in the future. So that is the goal for today. So what I'm going to end up start doing first is I am going to drill a single hole, tap it, and make sure that these fit. And then I'm going to go ahead and do the other two because I have 3 of these breather fittings here. So I'm going to get started with that now. So as you can see, we've gotten the first breather kind of fitted. It's not completely screwed in there. I need to tap it a little bit more than it is, but it is in. I'm going to put the next 2 right here and here. We'll screw them in. We're going to use some thread sealer to put them in, and then we're going to deburr it from this side. And should solve our oil blowout problem that we don't have yet, but we're preventing. But you know what I mean. So here it is, all finished up. We have the 3 breather fittings, I should say, into the shifter housing. I cleaned it up here, and obviously I put on some thread sealant just to double check and make sure that we don't get oil coming out of the threads, which I didn't think would be a problem because it can breathe out of this anyway, but that's, just to double check, make sure. But anyway, these are installed. That is it for this episode, and obviously you guys will figure out if this fix works or not after I get the car running, so we'll find out then. But until then, have a good one. Thanks for sticking around, and we'll see you in episode 13.